Junay Cinco, and welcome to our discussion for today. And today, let's talk about the success story of the businessman here in the Philippines. So let's start now.
Are the learning outcomes of this topic? Number 1, explain how their business grew. Number 2, present what is their business here in the Philippines. And lastly, discuss the importance of business success story. First, let's talk Philippines Earthline. Tan was born in Amoy, now Xiamen, Fujian, China. His parents moved to the Cebu in the Philippines. When he was a child, he was said to have gone to school on barefoot and first worked as a stevedore who tied cargo with ropes made from abaca. He earned a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the Far Eastern University in Manila. Forbes states that while in college, Tan worked as a janitor at a tobacco factory where he mopped floors to pay for school. From tobacco business to airline to liquor, real estate, and educations, Lucio Tan has proven that you can always find opportunities through humble experience. With all of Lucio Tan's affiliations in the country's business industry, one can learn many things in terms of seizing opportunities when it comes by. You don't need to be rich to be successful. You just need to work hard because truly, great things start from small beginnings. Number 2, Cebu Pacific. We need blood, sweat, and hard work to make the Philippines economy compete globally for our family businesses to be world-class in this era of globalizations. We must compete not just with rhetoric and words. We need hard work, perseverance, innovations, courage, and total dedications. We need to slug it out. He's known to be a philanthropist, Jan Gokongwei Jr. He is a prominent Chinese-Filipino businessman with holdings in air transportations, banking, food manufacturing, petrochemicals, power generations, publishing, real estate and property development, telecom and textiles. In 2019, Forbes magazine issues Gokongwei has a net worth of $720 million, making him the fifth Philippine richest businessman. The entrepreneurial career of Jan Gokongwei Jr. is one of the most cited in Asia. Once a scion of a wealthy clan, the young Gokongwei overcame the death of his father, the creditors' seizures of their home, and the loss of the family business to bounce back from adversity. The shock and humiliations still him that the bank's rejections of his loan applications failed to dishearten him in the 1950s when he was started his first factory, nor did his failed attempts to join San Miguel corporations dim his spirit 2 decades later. He was born August 11, 1926 in the scenic Dolangyo Isles across Xiamen City in the Fujian province of South China. But he spent his childhood and first became an entrepreneur in the resource-poor yet dynamic trading port city of Cebu, where his great-grandfather, Pedro Le Gutioco, had risen from poverty to become one of the wealthiest merchants and leaders of the Chinese business community. Later, the reversal of fortunes forced the teenage Jan to peddle soap, trades, and candles using his bike. By age of 17, he was riding the battle, traveling 2 to 3 weeks with products to sell from Cebu to Lucena and then on to Manila. During World War II, the young Gokongwei also sold diamonds in Cebu as a result of the trust placed on him by the older Chinese traders who were impressed with his initiative. After the war, Gokongwei set up a Amasya trading firm that imported textile remnants, fruits, used clothing, and old newspapers and magazines from the US, and stocked them on the ground floor of a two-story apartment above which Gokongwei's family lived. Next, he moved to Chinatown in Manila to start a corn milling factory, producing glucose and cornstarch. The 30 years old entrepreneur lacked capital but had good Shenyang or trustworthiness. So China Bank official Albino Saisip and D.K. Chung grant him a 500,000 pesos clean loan to start him off. Gokongwei has since moved from one venture to another, reinvesting his earnings and working for half a century to build a conglomerate. The Gokongwei's flagship company had originally focused on food, clothing, and shelter, but today it has become the most diversified conglomerate in the Philippines. It controls the biggest snack and food producer, Universal Robina Corporation, the URC branded Consumer Foods Group, and the ORC Agro-Industrial Group, Robinson's Land Corporation's developer of residential and office condominiums, shopping malls, and housing projects, boasts the largest number of hotel rooms in the country. The successful Robinson's malls have built over 500,000 square meters of total leasing space nationwide. Cebu Pacific Air, which entered the market in 1996 on a strategy of offering low fare, great value, has grown to become the second largest domestic carrier in the Philippines. On March 4, 2003, Gokongwei made a rare appearance to celebrate the launch of Sun Cellular by his Digital Communications Philippines Inc., the largest fixed wired telephone service provided in Luzon outside Metro Manila. Gokongwei paid his dues to philanthropy when he established the Gokongwei Brothers Foundation.
Come on in, look at what we've got. There's so much more, there's such a lot. Here at SM, we've got it all. We've got it all. Lots of excitement, bargains and fun. Shopping convenience for everyone. At SM, it's all at SM. Here at SM, we've got it all for you.
There are many questions we try to ask ourselves. Why are we poor? Why are some people rich? Not everyone started being rich. Some strive really hard to get what they have now.
Success is not just good luck. It is a combination of hard work, good credit standing, opportunity, readiness, and timing.
Every time we hear the name Henry C., the first thing that comes to our mind would be SM, a business tycoon, and how rich he is. A striving Chinese boy who dreamed big to find a way out of poverty. A courageous, ambitious, and business-minded man since he was young who gets inspired by his father, who was once a trader. A man who believed that every Filipino deserved a good pair of shoes. A man who built on his dreams. He is Mr. Henry C. Sr. C. Chi Siang, his real name, which means all the way up to success, was born to a poor family on December 25, 1924 in southern China. In 1935, his father, who was a trader, left his family to seek opportunity in the Philippines, which was U.S. territorial protectorate. In 1936, during the pre-war era, at the age of 12, he migrated to the Philippines only to see his father in poor health condition. His father was an owner of a small retail store. Since then, he only had one goal, that is, the will to strive for excellence and to overcome the harsh environment of poverty through the discipline of hard work and frugality. Every day, he went to Divisoria, buying goods to resell in their retail store. He and his father worked hard from dusk till dawn and only slept in a small counter floor. Ever since, his business strategy was brilliant. He came up with the concept of selling items in small portions, which was practical and fast way to earn. Desperate to study even at the age of 12, he enrolled in grade 1 in a Chinese school in Quiapo. He accelerated and eventually completed grade school in 5 years. During World War II, their store was burned down. His father went back to China. With that chaos, Henry C. did not lose hope and decided to stay instead.
I don't give up easily. I look for solutions to problems. I want to make things happen.
Throughout the history, his business life was always marked by risk and luck. He was unfortunately hit by shrapnel while selling. A pushcart vendor who later on became his friend and business partner helped and brought him to the hospital. After the war in 1945, young Henry joined the booming buy and sell business with his partner. He saved enough money from peddling cheap American shoes. To improve his trade, he found innovative ways leading to the birth of his store called Shoe Mart or SM, which was the first air-conditioned shoe store. In 1949, he had a financial loan of 1 million pesos from China Bank in order to rebuild his business. In 1950, he had a second chance of schooling. He enrolled in Far Eastern University with a degree in commerce to improve his entrepreneurial skills. He then obtained the Philippine citizenship and continued his growing business for more than 40 years. In 1960, SM Investments Corporation was incorporated and store chains have expanded. He opened the first Shoemart store in Carriedo, which became SM Quiapo, the first SM mall in 1972 during the martial law when there is an economic decline. It soon became very popular until he opened more department stores in the country. He was not contented of his small-scale industry and very limited supply to meet growing demand of customers. And so, he thought of an innovation that is selling apparels and other products and adding appliances division in his store.
He had his concept of having lesser problem by owning a space where one shop is located rather than being a tenant of a space for a shop. SMDC was incorporated in the Philippines in 1974 as Ayala Fund Incorporated, a closed-end investment company limited by shares. In 1983, economic crisis got worse and it seems like a bad year to start big projects as many investors and bankers were skeptical to finance his project. Optimism and determination was Henry C's shield during hard times. However, in 1985, the first super mall SM City North EDSA was opened. Ship of the company and it was renamed as SM Fund Incorporated. And then it was renamed SM Development Corporation or SMDC. Moral support from his family, employees, and customers kept him strong. He continued his business expansion until SM Santa Mesa and SM Mega Mall opened. In 1994, Henry C. incorporated SM Prime Holdings, registry in the company in the Philippines Stock Exchange with almost instantly raised more than 1 billion shares linking to 5 billion during its initial public offering. It also created 500,000 people with jobs in the succeeding life. In 1999, he had his honorary doctorate in business management in De La Salle University and was named as Management Man of the Year by Makati Business Club. From shoes to a diverse range of products and services, he had a century of brilliant and successful entrepreneurship. In 2001, Shumart Incorporated, the Philippines' largest retail chain, already includes stores dealing in hardware products, appliances, toys, home and lifestyle products, health and beauty products, export overrun clothes, fashion accessories, and cinemas. In 2002, he tapped Asia's wealthiest billionaire, Hong Kong's Li Ka-shing, to invest in the Philippines through joint venture between SM Group and Lis Watson retail chain. Aside from retail business, Xi is also the power behind Banco de Oro Unibank Incorporated, China Bank Incorporation, and Tagaytay Highlands. He also owned San Miguel Corporation, Keppel Philippine Holdings Incorporated, LaSalle University, Republic Glass Holdings Corporation, SM Department Store, SM Cinema, SM Foundation Incorporated, SM Supermarket and Hypermarket, and SM Investments Corporation. He already owned 43 malls across the Philippines, not including his 6 malls in China and 1 in Guam. His dream project, Mall of Asia, is now envisioned as a premier destination mall in Asia Pacific region.
On May 2013, the newest, most elegant, and most exciting shopping center of SM Prime Holdings called SM Aura Premier in Taguig City was opened. In 2014, Mr. Henry C., the founder of SM Group and chairman of SM Prime Holdings Incorporation, the father of modern Philippine retail, was ranked first in the top 10 richest people in the Philippines with a net worth of $12.7 billion. He is also one of the richest men in the world. In 2015, he ranks 73rd in Forbes Billionaires list. Mr. Henry C. is gaining a net worth of $14.4 billion in the present time. Creative, diligent, persistent, optimistic. 4 words to describe Mr. Henry C. He definitely would not quit. Despite all the obstacles he had, it did not stop him from pursuing his passion in his business career. To pay obligations on time, especially to his suppliers, has been his lifelong practice as a retailer. The business empire of SM Store Chain is more than a venue for fun shopping, fine dining, and social events. Every SM store that we see is a representation of Filipino business ingenuity, stability, resilience, and optimism despite the uncertain future.
You have to dream, whether big or small, then plan, focus, work hard, and be very determined to achieve your goals. There is no substitute for hard work. There is no such thing as overnight success or easy money.
It has become a cliche, but success came to see only as a result of hard work, tenacity, frugality, self-discipline, Confucian values, and an undying thirst of learning. Henry C's walk through his success in life is truly an inspiration.
The first Julie's Bake Shop opened in January 6, 1981 in Hernan Cortez Avenue, Mandaue City, Cebu. From that single store, we've grown to over 400 strong in 2013, boasting of more success stories from our franchise holders and business partners than any other bake shop, making us a leader and the biggest bakery network in the Philippines.
We've achieved our vision and our goal in becoming a leading company in the Philippines. We want to share our success story with you.
It's something that develops a passion in you to succeed.
I used to be an OFW based in Hong Kong, but I decided to go home for good and set up my first Julie's Bake Shop in 2001 in Baguio. After 10 years, I am now operating 5 bakeries in Baguio. For me, going for Julie's was the best decision I made in my life.
I used to be an operations manager until in year 2002, I opened my first Julie's Bake Shop. The business has helped my kids' studies and it has been a financially rewarding experience. In Panay, I now have 3 successful Julie's Bake Shops.
I remember when I was still an employee, someone told me, "Why will you work so hard on something you will never own?" That became a catalyst for change. I looked for business opportunities and decided to put up Julie's Bake Shop. 3 years later, with 2 branches, I am now earning 10 times more than I used to.
I've been with this company for more than 20 years. Seeing its vision, I want to be part of it. That's why I'm still here. I feel like I'm also an honor to this company.
From these principles, we've created a simple yet effective formula to ensure that you get to create your own success story.
No one is more knowledgeable in providing support for operations management, training, site verification, and trade and institutional sales than us. We provide franchise support and expertise that's globally competitive. Providing quality products that are affordable while maintaining a clean environment has helped make Julie's Bake Shop what we are today. From public relations, cyber and sales promotions, to television.
and social media advertising.
With our research and development team constantly developing quality, innovative, and profitable products to retain and increase market share, we are always a step ahead of the competition. A step in gaining global presence is partnering with industry leaders that are globally recognized.
We can help!
Help us feed people.
People with different backgrounds but share the same goal. To grow.
We're not just an expanding network of bake shops. Getting a Julie's franchise is joining a community of passionate and caring people.
We're going global and breaking barriers, helping fight hunger by making bread available and affordable.
This is our vision. This is our mission.
Our success story. Join us and start your own success story today.
Julie's Bake Shop and JFC won numerous business and industry awards. The awards and recognitions they receive is an affirmation that the lives of Julie's Bake Shop franchisees are getting better. Gumaganda ang buhay sa lipunan. On June 24, 1999, the Cebu Business Month Grand Chamber gave Julie's Bake Shop a plaque of recognition for being the success story of the year. After a few months, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry gave JFC a special citation as an outstanding countryside investor on October 22, 1999. In the following year, on the 9th of June, JFC received Outstanding Small and Medium-Scale Entrepreneur Award from the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And on September 28, 2002, Julie's Bake Shop was recognized as the Who's Who in the Philippines, the Best Bake Shop of the Year by the National Consumers Excellence Awards. 2005 marked another historic year for Julie's. JFC was awarded as the most outstanding Filipino franchise of the year by the Philippine Franchise Association. In November 2014, Julie's Bake Shop founders Rodrigo and Julia Gandionco were awarded with the MVP Bossing Awards, presented by PLDT SME Nation and BPI Go Negosyo. In April 2015, Julie's Bake Shop started baking in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Join us
from starting to growing your business.